Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Ben Higgins reveals what he would change about The Bachelor.
And I don't know about you, but I feel like this generation that's in their 20s and 30s, we get criticized for not leaning on our elderly for wisdom and advice. And I do think that's something we should be doing.
Plus, Dean and Kailyn give us an update on their wedding plans. Lindsay Hubbard reveals why she deleted her Tasha and Luke pic. And Chris Harrison calls out Mike Fleiss for being a narcissist. We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly Deputy Editor Sarah Heron. And Sarah, not a huge week in Bachelor Nation news. It seems like everybody's kind of maybe binging Love is Blind.
I think that's what it is. I think people are still staring at their Netflix screen, hoping that the Love is Blind reunion will load. I think that's where we all are.
Definitely. Well, there's still some news to get to this week, so we're going to break it all down. And starting out with Dean and Kailyn, they are currently planning their Aspen, Colorado wedding for later on this year. They opened up about some wedding planning on the Clickbait podcast. And he jokingly said that he hasn't still found the ring, which is kind of crazy. He said it just evaporated. I think Kailyn hid it or did something with it, to be honest. She chimed in saying that would be a crazy thing for me to do. He did say that he got her a third ring. He said it went missing and she has a new ring now. The ring I proposed with is from a jeweler and I got an inexpensive diamond ring just to have something for the occasion. Now I do have a new engagement ring for her, so I guess that's the third engagement ring. I haven't given it to her yet, but I plan on giving it to her before the wedding in a special way. He went on to say, maybe I'll do it while we're in Hawaii. I guess who knows? We'll see if there's a moment that could lend itself to that. Fortunately, a ring company reached out and said they heard I lost the ring and they wanted to give us another one, so I got out of the woods on that one. I guess it helps being famous. You get a free ring if you lose one.
I mean, I cannot believe they never found it. In case you guys forgot, he proposed on this lengthy hike, but didn't bring the ring. And they had a diamond that they were planning to get made into a ring. They kept in a drawer in their house. And then when they got back from this hike, they went to find the diamond in the drawer and it was nowhere to be found. And they were watching their security footage. And I don't think I've ever been able to have a worse poker face than when I was interviewing Kailyn a couple months ago and was like, what do you mean you lost the ring?
I know. And they weren't overly concerned about it. She's like, it'll pop up. Well, it never did. And now she's on her third ring. So maybe she'll find it eventually, but that's crazy. It would drive me nuts.
I mean, damn, I guess it goes to show not in it for the diamond.
Right. Yes.
Well,
I don't know. It would, like I said, it would drive me crazy if I couldn't find my diamond ring. But hey, she seems happy.
That is really funny. I missed that one. Wow. All right. Congratulations, Dean and Kailyn again. And, third time's the charm. Third diamond could be the charm. Well, a couple who we kind of finally know are dating in another obscure edition of Instagram deleting photos. In case you forgot, Lindsay Hubbard had deleted a picture of Luke and Tayshia. Tayshia, obviously our former Bachelorette, and Luke from Summer House, Winter House fame on Easter. Andy Cohen brought this up on Watch What Happens Live this week, and Lindsay said, I did not know they were holding hands until everyone started commenting and was like, oh, they're holding hands. And I was like, oh, bleep, they're holding hands. She said she didn't want to talk about her conversation with Luke after Andy was like, obviously, he asked you to delete it. She said, I don't want to get into details, but then said, I understand what it's like to be in the public and the pressure you feel from viewers and fans. When Carl and I started dating, we were trying to keep it as private as possible because you want to enjoy those moments. Andy kind of said, so they're just trying to figure it out. And she said, honestly. So basically that's the confirmation we need. If we need more, they're dating. I'm sure Lindsay will get, maybe hear from the two of them about that answer too. Cause by not, she gave us the confirmation we needed basically.
Yeah. She's like, yes, pretty much said that they're in the beginning stages of their relationship, want to kind of keep it under wraps. And I'm sure she got a pretty nasty phone call from Luke after that one was posted.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like before we said, it's a little confusing. It makes sense. New York influencer type reality stars. But just, kind of random. Luke is a weird one. It's been hard to kind of nail down his romantic history because we've only really seen fails during his Bravo tenure. But he also seems like a nice guy. So fingers crossed.
They make a very good looking couple. I mean, it seems like, I'm rooting for them. Hopefully it'll
work out. I heard recently that Zach, I had a friend who saw Zach on Raya. So he's still, trying to get out there, I guess.
Yeah. So interesting and very, very interesting. All right. Well, this is also an interesting story. So this is going back a couple weeks, but on the April 9th episode of the most dramatic podcast ever, Chris Harrison was joined by Meghan King. And as the episode began to kind of wind down, Meghan asked Chris a question if he thought that there were any narcissists associated with the Bachelor franchise, to which Chris named creator and former executive producer Mike Blac. He said the creator of the show was severely, one of the toughest things about narcissism is you will never, I don't want to say never, but very rarely will that person ever recognize that about themselves. So maybe still some hard feelings about that one.
Oh, I mean, listen, I think a lot of people on reality TV behind the scenes and in front of the camera probably could be different degrees of narcissists.
Yes.
For a lot of reasons. And I think we see that more and more now as like we have the terminology for it. I think sometimes that term gets thrown around a lot, but this is a guy who, was accused of some very, very serious crimes in his own personal relationship, but then also some maybe creating toxic environments and allegations of racism, discrimination on the set of Bachelor. Chris Harrison also kind of hinted when he first talked about the Mike Fleiss exit from the franchise that he maybe would come back now that he's gone. And it's like, I don't know, you two were pretty tight this whole time. It's a little like rewriting history to me. But Meghan King from Orange County, we do know she loves a question about a narcissist.
She does. And I feel like Chris Harrison is moving forward with this narrative that the Bachelor franchise wants it back, but I don't think they do. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Not to be whatever, but is that like a narcissist?
Right. Yes.
I'm not saying he's like a narcissist. I know everyone loves Chris Harrison. I'm just saying that's thinking pretty highly of yourself.
Seriously.
I think like everyone in the public eye has a little bit of narcissism. I think Andy Cohen even said that at one Housewives reunion. Yes. He was like, we're all like self-absorbed.
Exactly. I mean, you have to be. If literally all you do is talk about yourself all the time, then yes, you are a narcissist.
Yeah, you got to keep less yes people around you.
Exactly. Well, as we know, Mike Fleiss is out of the Bachelor franchise, and a lot of people are speculating how things are going to be changing going forward. And I know you talked to Ben Higgins about that.
Yes, good old Bachelor Ben. He had a hot take that, again, my poker face skills aren't always the best, and I was pretty surprised by what he had to say about what he would do if he was in charge at ABC. This is Ben's answer.
If you were in charge over at The Bachelor at ABC, would you go with keeping this formula the same because it is working in some degree? They still win their night. Like, it does enough, and people are still watching it. Or I think they go something crazy drastic and throw some wild twist in for the next season just to see if they can get a new group and then see if it works. I don't know what the twist is, but I feel like they got to freshen up the format. But in another argument to be made is the format still kind of works. Enough people are watching it. It's a risk, but I think they should just do something crazy.
Yeah. The format's interesting because every year since my time on the show, I thought I was going to be, and there's been seasons that this existed. I probably could think of two, maybe. I don't even know if I could tell you what season they were. I just remember watching them. That where you're like, this is not going to entertain me. It's going to be the same thing over and over again. But every season, somehow they do come up with something new and different. Every season, at the very end, the story switches and changes and keeps us on the edge of our seats as fans wanting to tune in for that final episode.
Yeah.
I think as long as they can do that, they're good. I do think it's time to modernize it a little bit. I think it's time to catch up a little bit with where we're at. I don't know what that would look like either, though. They tried it with the 2 Bachelorette thing. It was. I actually think it was better than what was better than what was expected.
I think
it worked. I don't think it pitted the two of them against each other. I do think they ran individual lanes. I thought it was a little messy at times, but it worked. And it was interesting. I think they could try it with the Bachelors.
I think they got to try it with the Bachelors just to make it even, just to throw it out there.
Just
what
to
the hell?
Do it. At some point, you should just do it. And my big if I was in charge, this would be my big home run. Okay. Now I'm biased, and we've been able to do a couple interviews, and I don't typically think I'm the best suited person for many jobs, but I do think I would be good at this.
Okay.
I would really lean into this senior dating show. I would. I think it's something new. I don't think television has ever seen anything like it.
Okay.
I think the stories would go back to what we're used to watching when it comes to The Bachelor and Bachelorette. Those stories are going to be heart-wrenching. They're going to be inspiring. They're going to have, if you're 50 or 60 years old and you're dating on national television, that takes a lot of risk. It takes something brand new that you haven't done ever in your life and that you're not used to. But you're also going to have a lot of life experience to share with the audience and with the other contestants and with the suitor. And so I would lean into this. I think it's a huge home run. I think it can be hilarious. I think there's so much good things to it. And I don't know about you, but I feel like this generation that's in their 20s and 30s, we get criticized for not leaning on our elderly for wisdom and advice. And I do think that's something we should be doing, listening to, the voices that have been through this before. But I also think that we're super curious to understand this generation that's older than us, because there's so many things different between the two generations, right?
Yeah.
And so this would give us a whole new intrigue and outlook on why do they say the things they say? Why do they think the way they think? Why are they so slow to pick up new advancements in technology in this world? I think this would be great. So I would just lean into that. I mean, I think it could replace a season of the show, because I think it would be a home run.
Very interesting.
I mean, Bachelor Seniors, Ben wants on that show as a mentor, host, friend, BFF, pill passer outer. Please give Ben his chance. He's passionate about it.
He is pushing for this. I feel like he's been pushing for this for a while, too.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, let's see which Bachelor member caught our attention on social media. And like we said before, everybody has been binging Love is Blind, and everybody was very disappointed that the live reunion was not live, including Clayton Bristow. She posted this screenshot of Tiffany who was sleeping during her date on Love is Blind. She said, "This will be me soon if the Love is Blind finale doesn't get it together." I mean, I think everybody was very disappointed that we had to wait about 45 minutes to an hour for this thing to kind of get going.
So crazy. And then for me, it never even started working. I had to watch the next day.
And the next day at 3:00 in the afternoon. I don't know what they were waiting for.
And not to be whatever, but not really worth the wait.
No, yeah.
I had to hear Zach sing again, which is the end of that's such a trigger. And I just feel like I don't know. It's just every time there's a reunion that isn't hosted by Andy Cohen, it just makes me appreciate Andy Cohen even more.
It's so true. I mean, Andy said that reunion should not be live, and I totally agree with him. Reunion should not be live. We don't get all the meat that we need from all these conversations. We don't get all the answers that we really wanted.
Yeah, and it's not fair that Jackie and Josh got to just zoom in to a very, very pro them interview with Vanessa Lachey to then have Marshall, Justin's cousin, by the way, in case you didn't know, to bring it back to The Bachelor, Justin Glaze's cousin, Marshall Glaze, was on Love is Blind, pretty, well received contestant, and totally got screwed at the reunion because he didn't even get to answer his ex.
No, he was having a conversation with himself.
Right, and Vanessa was very pro Jackie, in my opinion.
It made no sense to me, but you could totally tell that they're cousins based on their facial expressions, like the eyebrows, everything like that. Totally cousins. I love to see it. So
that was great. That was all the Marshall in the corner was giving Justin, and I loved that too.
I loved it so much. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Here for the Right Reasons. Please keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.